For gender equality victories, men need better feminism. To regain abortion rights and to advance gender equality, men need better, more male-inclusive feminism. And we all need more deeply, mentally, and emotionally aware and introspective feminism. We don't need a society that has effective anti-racism without effective anti-sexism and anti-homophobia, as advocated by Clarence Thomas, who opposes abortion rights and gay marriage, but not interracial marriages such as his own marriage. With this in mind, it's helpful to review anti-racist success and anti-sexist failure over the past 15 years. Consider the following question. Why was Barack Obama able to successfully oppose racism sufficiently to win the elections of 2008 and 2012, but Hillary Clinton was not able to successfully oppose sexism sufficiently to win the 2016 election? While many factors other than racism and sexism influenced those elections, it seems clear that racial and gender bias played significant roles. And bias was handled differently by the two candidates. In his campaign, Obama directly addressed race in a way that felt unifying for all people, white and non-white. He gave a speech responding to the Reverend Wright controversy that was caused by his African-American pastor saying, "God damn America," in a sermon while speaking out against American racism. Obama movingly described how racism harmed both the white members of his family and the non-white members of his family. He expressed empathy both with a painful experience of his white grandmother saying she felt uncomfortable in the presence of an African-American man in a public space, and empathy with the painful experience of his white grandfather who angrily saw his grandmother's reaction as racist and as exemplifying a harmful attitude people could have towards their beloved African-American grandson, Barack. Obama's decision to address race in a unifying way was politically successful. He was elected to 2 terms in office. Obama presented his anti-racism imperative as important for the good of all people, regardless of race. In contrast, there was no equivalent moment where the candidate Hillary Clinton presented an anti-sexism imperative as being important for the good of all people, regardless of gender. And when gender did come up in connection with the Clinton campaign, it often took the form of female supremacist thinking. We heard about how Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did, only backwards and in heels, implying that women are already accustomed to do everything better than men, so a Hillary Clinton victory would be no problem. Senator Dianne Feinstein said in an interview that women are better problem solvers than men. People talked about how great it would be to have matriarchy when Clinton was elected, and in the end, Hillary Clinton lost the election, opening the way for Donald Trump to appoint the right-wing extremist Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. Consider how Clinton's campaign might have gone differently if she had called upon the support of more men speaking simply and from the heart about why we want gender equality. What if Clinton had held televised town hall conversations with fathers who are angry because their brilliant athlete daughters don't get the same support from high schools and colleges as the male athletes? With husbands who are angry because their wives got passed over for deserved promotions because of sexism impacting the economy of their households. with brothers who are angry because their sisters received inadequate medical care from a healthcare system that often researches male-specific diseases more than female-specific diseases, and with other similar men who want to see gender equality in our society. It is important for future campaigns supporting women's equal rights to consider this question seriously. Both the idea of female mental and emotional superiority and the idea of male superiority are unjustified by the best research, and contests between female supremacists and male supremacists are likely to default in favor of male dominance in our sexist society. To gain a shift to a gender-equal society, men's pro-gender equality experience and men's enlightened self-interest in gaining gender equality need to be articulated more strongly and widely. We also need to develop more deeply mentally and emotionally aware and introspective feminism. This means taking an honest look within ourselves and others at the interconnected woman-hating or misogynist and man-hating or misandrous feelings and reactions that we have. If we reflect carefully, we will likely discover that we all are misogynistic and misandrous to some extent. We're likely to have felt or cooperated with people who feel harsher reactions to assertive and aggressive women compared with equally assertive and aggressive men. And we're likely to have felt or cooperated with people who feel harsher reactions to men who express vulnerability compared with women who similarly express vulnerability. Such gender-biased reactions arise in people of all genders and no gender, including gender non-binary people, since we're all socialized into a gender-biased society. Instead of starting from the assumption that we are all free from gender bias, it would be better to begin by observing that we all participate in a gender-biased society where structural elements and individuals' experience interact to produce gender-biased discrimination. One rich resource for critically examining this situation is Dorothy Dinnerstein's philosophy. In her book, The Mermaid and the Minotaur, Dinnerstein argues that having men share early child care equally with women is essential for overcoming gender bias. If men and women shared child care equally, we collectively could grow into adults who feel infantilized equally by male power and by female power. Not feeling more infantilized by women, we would not react against women by establishing sexist, patriarchal hierarchies. Our process of examining and resisting gendered biases that have roots in our childhood emotions must not be undertaken through a politics that is primarily female-centered and sometimes female supremacist. Instead, we need a politics that honestly acknowledges everyone's biases and a politics that foregrounds and develops all people's experiences, including men's experiences of benefits from advancing gender equality. Thank you very much. I'm making this video on June 26th, 2022.